Hello Pixie Doll, welcome back to the channel. I'm Crystal, aka the Wholesome Witch, and today we are getting into 5-minute magic that you can do as part of your Autumn Equinox Mabon celebrations. So the Autumn Equinox is upon us. It's happening this year on September 22nd. So the autumn season really focuses on energies for gratitude and abundance and balance and being grounded and preparing our energies for these darker months of the year. So I'm going to go through 5 ways that we can celebrate this, even if your schedule on the 22nd happens to be jam-packed. I always like to, if I can, I kind of like to observe the holidays on the wheel of the year as, you know, one of my own personal holidays. So I do try and take the day off. I really take advantage of, you know, honoring that change, but it's not always possible. A lot of us have very busy schedules. It doesn't matter if it happens to be the autumn equinox or the summer solstice or whatever. Maybe our schedule is just really busy and we only have, 5 extra minutes in our day. So I'm going to go through them. They're short, they're simple, they're meaningful, and you don't need a lot of tools or fancy extras to get them done. Even though they don't take a lot of time, they're meaningful, they're practical. They're going to help you to connect with that change of season and honor the day and prepare your own energy and mindset for the weeks and months to come. So if you want to grab a beverage and join me for the next 20 or so minutes, let's get into the first ritual idea. And I like filming at this is my office that I'm in now, and I like filming at my desk, but the wall behind me really needs something. It's really bare and it kind of bothers me. Anyway, let's get into our first ritual. So the first ritual we're going to do is focusing on grounding and balance. And these are things I really like to walk into a new season with, especially autumn, feeling grounded, balanced, connected to my practice, and in tune with the changes that are happening in nature all around us. So we can do a simple grounding ritual, a simple ritual to bring us back to a calm, balanced state of energy. And one of my favorite ways to do this as a 5-minute magic kind of thing is with a crystal, because there's quite a few that lend themselves to helping ground your energy. So my 2 favorites that I always tend to lean towards for grounding rituals is black tourmaline, grounding protection, this is my go-to, and hematite. Hematite's one of the most grounding crystals there is, at least in my opinion. So if I'm doing a ritual that's specifically for grounding or bringing balance, I will most often grab one of these 2. And you don't have to, you can use whatever stone connects you to the energies of groundedness and finding balance and bringing you to your center. And even if the crystal doesn't have that energetic property attached to it when you look at correspondence lists and things like this, if there's a crystal that when you hold it, you feel grounded and connected to yourself and just centered and aligned, use that crystal. Don't worry about what the lists of correspondences say, because we can tie our own energies to different things based on our own experience and our own energy. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So feel free to use whatever one makes you feel most connected and grounded. You're going to find a space that's hopefully quiet and where you won't be disturbed. It can be in your home. It can also be outside if you happen to have a private outdoor space, if you're lucky enough to have one. But it can also be in your home, and maybe there's a space in your home where your altar is, or a space where you do a lot of your ritual work that you find very calming. That would be a good place to do this. You're going to sit and hold the crystal in both of your hands like this. I want you to take a few deep breaths, find your energies coming into a balanced, calm state. Let go of anything that you may have been bothered by. Let go of anything that may have been weighing on your mind or distracting you. Just for these 5 minutes, try to bring your mind to that place of calm. Leave any of the outside noise behind. It's only for 5 minutes, so it can be hard, but I know you can do it. So we're going to focus. We're going to take a few deep breaths. You can close your eyes if you want to. I like to close my eyes when I do it. I find it easier to gain that calmness and that connection to the energy of the crystal, to the energy of grounding if my eyes are closed, but that's totally up to you. You don't have to have your eyes closed. You could also bring in a candle if you wanted, something that is grounding for you. It could be a green candle or a brown candle. You could also play some calming music if that's something that helps you get into a grounded space. And you can even set a timer for this so that you don't spend more than 5 minutes on it. That's also an option if you really are super pressed and know that you can't spend more than 5 minutes. Just set an alarm. So once we are in our space, we're settled, our eyes are closed, we're taking deep calm breaths. I want you to visualize your energy coming back to center. So you can do this in a lot of different ways. You can visualize a grounding color that helps bring your energies to center. A color such as blue might help you feel calming and grounded. You might visualize a scene, like a nature scene, that helps you feel grounded and calm. You might visualize being in the forest in autumn. So imagine the trees and all the colors and the way the air feels, the crispness that autumn brings with it in the air. You could visualize simply a bright white light in the center of yourself, and that light kind of illuminating from your heart center out to your fingertips, out through the top of your head to the bottom of your toes. Any of these visualizations are going to work if it resonates with you. So those are some options. If you have a hard time visualizing, I really recommend that you do bring music in to help you find that feeling of balance within yourself, because I know visualization is harder for some people than others. Just relaxing. Relax your fingers, relax your toes, kind of allow yourself to come into a more meditative state. Try and remain in that state. If any thoughts come into your mind that are not balanced, not centered, simply let them pass you by. Let them go. Don't focus on them, don't concentrate on them. Let them pass by and bring yourself back to that space. And just stay there for a few minutes. When you're finished, you can thank the energies of your crystal for helping you come to this balanced state. You can give thanks to nature for this beautiful time and season that we're walking into. You can thank the universe, your spirit guides, a deity if you work with one and their connection helps you bring to balance. Give thanks in whatever way resonates and works for your practice, because we all might want to thank a different kind of entity. That's it. It's 5 minutes and you can go about the rest of your day. And you've taken that moment for yourself to center your energy, to connect with nature. It's a really simple, easy way to honor the day and the change of season, as well as give yourself a few minutes of calm and a few minutes to bring yourself back to balance, which we all need sometimes. And this could even be a daily practice, to be honest, but it's really something nice to do on one of the Sabbats as part of our honoring of the seasonal change. Next 5-minute ritual we're going to get into is focused on gratitude and intention setting. So this one, I always grab my trusty book, my trusty journal or notebook, or even just a piece of paper if you're not an avid journaler like I am. Grab a paper, grab a pen, and spend 5 minutes placing gratitude and setting intentions for the weeks ahead. Again, you can set a timer so that you don't kind of get away from yourself and start spending way more time than you have writing. And if you're someone who likes to write and journal, that can definitely happen, and then half an hour has passed and you haven't even realized it. So if you need to, if you have things to do, you gotta keep on schedule, set that alarm. This practice doesn't need to take any longer than that. For this, on the equinox, I do like to have a candle in my space. I like the connection to the fire element, the connection to that warm, cozy energy that the fire element brings. And I like it to be a white candle that is very cleansing and can bring in blessings. So that's just my preference. You don't have to have a candle, but I recommend it. So you can light your candle. You can also bring crystal into your space if you want, a crystal that connects with some of the intentions you want to set for the autumn season. That's totally an option. And all you're going to do, again, kind of with all these rituals, I want you to bring yourself to a place of calm, a place of balance. You're only spending 5 minutes on each of these things, or one of these things, whichever one you choose. So I want you to really try and be present for that 5 minutes. 5 minutes is not a lot of time. So for all of these, we're going to let go of anything that might be weighing on our mind, anything we might be stressed about, anything we might be thinking, oh, I have to do this, my schedule, I have to go here next and here. We're going to try and let all that go just for these 5 minutes. Find yourself a nice, cozy place you can sit for 5 minutes, light your candle, and you're going to just write down 3 things that you are grateful for in this moment as we are making this transition into the new season. So just 3, they can just be 1 line each, 1 little sentence. And then underneath your 3 things you're grateful for, you're going to write down your top 3 intentions for the fall season. It can be for the fall season, or it can be just for these next, 6-7 weeks until we get to our next Sabbath, which is Samhain. So it's up to you. It can be for the entire autumn season, or it can be just from this turn of the wheel to the next one. I tend to like to set my intentions fresh every single Sabbath that we celebrate. So when I would do this, I would write down 3 things, my most important 3 intentions for the next 6 to 7 weeks, but it's up to you. And then you're gonna write those down. So again, just 1 sentence for each, short, sweet, simple. You could even just write down the 3 intentional words: success, prosperity, health. Then what I want you to do is take your paper, so if it's in a book, you can tear it out, fold the paper 3 times towards yourself. You're calling them in, so you want to fold the paper towards yourself. Do it 3 times. 3 is my number preference for how many times I like to do things. Maybe you have a different number that you really resonate with. Maybe you have a number that you find very magical, that you connect with. Maybe it's 4, so you could fold it 4 times. That's totally up to you. 3 is just, I find it to be the most magical number. There's a lot of magical associations with the number 3, but all numbers have their own special energies and things that are connected to it. So 3 is just my preference. You can fold it more or less if you wish, but do fold it towards yourself to call the energies in. And then I just want you to sit, hold the paper in your hands for 2 to 3 minutes and focus on the feeling of gratitude and focus on those 3 intentions that you're wanting to call in. If you want, do a little visualization. Visualization is huge in my practice. I use it all the time. And visualize what your life would look like with those 3 intentions being brought in. So you're seeing more success, you're seeing more prosperity, and or whatever it might be. Have a little visualization with as much detail as you can. And if you had more time, you could write down more detail as well instead of just a little sentence or word. But we're talking about 5 minutes here. So during the visualization process, visualize what your life would look like with that thing in it. How would you move through your day? How would you look, dress? How would you feel? Try and embody those emotions that you would feel with these intentions called in and with you having them. So spend your time here, 2 to 3 minutes, nothing too lengthy. 'Tis the name of the game today. We're getting in and out of these rituals. And then when you're finished with your visualization, the 2 to 3 minutes has passed. Thank the universe, thank your spirit guides. I always like to give thanks to spirit guides, universe, nature. If I have an element that's helping me, like ingredients in the kitchen or a crystal, I like to give thanks to it for its energy, for its assistance. And then you can extinguish your flame. I would suggest keeping the paper somewhere special or somewhere that you can revisit it. If you kind of have a day when you're feeling off and unfocused and you can't remember what you're grateful for and you can't remember what your intentions were for the season, you can grab this paper and you can go over it and remind yourself what you had intended and how you wanted to feel throughout the season. So I like to fold this paper up and keep it on my altar. I will put it underneath a dish or underneath a crystal. You could keep it by your bed and maybe just review it at nighttime before you go to sleep. Whatever feels right, that's really up to you. But these are things you want to hold within you for the season. So do keep it close and keep it somewhere you can reference it as the weeks go on. Next, ritual number 3, 5-minute ritual number 3. We are, of course, going to lean into our tarot cards or oracle cards because, I don't know about you, but a Sabbath does not go by where I don't utilize my card deck in some fashion. So this one, we're going to do it in 5 minutes or less, depends on you. Choose a deck. It could be tarot, it can be oracle, whatever deck you feel you're connected to that day or you feel particularly connected to in the autumn season. Maybe you have a certain deck that you always go to when autumn hits. go for that one. We're going to do a very quick 3-card draw. So there are some other card spreads that I like to do on the equinoxes and the Sabbats, but this one, as we are busy witches and we have only 5 minutes, we're going to do a simple 3-card spread. So you're going to choose your deck, center that energy, focus on the weeks to come, focus on your situation right now and where you want it to go while you're shuffling. We're going to shuffle, and then you can cut the deck however you like. I tend to shuffle until my intuition tells me to stop. That's how I like to do that. I cut the deck wherever feels good, put the other one on top, and then I'll flip however many cards I'm laying out. And today is going to be 3. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Set our deck to the side, and each card will represent one different energy. So the first card is going to be something that you need to release. The second card is going to be something you will be focusing on, or something you will be nurturing, should be nurturing throughout these next weeks. And then the third card is going to be your guidance or outcome going forward. We're going to flip our first card. So first card, it's going to be something you need to release. So focus on the card. Think about intuitively what messages come to you. What do you need to release as we move through the season? What do you need to leave behind so that you can move forward on your path? Second card, we're going to flip it. It's going to be what you need to focus on or what needs nurturing throughout this season. So think about how you want your season to go. Think about your intentions for the season, and think about what things you want to work on, what things you want to grow as we move forward, and see what intuitive messages come from the card. We do the card readings for clarity, for wisdom, to connect with our intuition, to get guidance from the universe, from our spirit guides, wherever we like to open our minds and receive messages from. That is the purpose of the cards, right? To receive that guidance, that clarity, inner wisdom that maybe we know is always there, but we don't always connect to. What messages come through when you turn the card over? What messages does the image on the card bring? So you can think of the image of the card as well as the meaning of the card. Now, since we only have 5 minutes, you might not be pulling the book. Even without the book, that's why I said to connect with your intuition and what does the card say to you. Then we'll go to the third and see what our outcome is going to be or what our guidance is going to be to move forward. And again, look at the image, the card that it might be. Maybe if it's tarot cards and you're really familiar, you will have knowledge of what the card symbolizes already. If it's an oracle deck that you're not as familiar with, it'll be harder. So since it's a 5-minute ritual, actually, I would recommend using a deck that you're quite familiar with, so you know a little bit the messages that the cards are meant to hold. But even if it's a deck that's brand new, just use your intuition and see what comes to you when you look at the card. You can take a picture of your reading, or you can place your cards on your altar or on your desk somewhere that you can come back to them later when you have more time. If you want to come back to them later, you can then go through the book. You can take notes, this kind of thing. So take a little picture, or just, keep your cards to the side so you can reference them later. But in this 5 minutes, we're just going to do an intuitive read. And that's really important when doing tarot anyway. I really like to, before I look at a book interpretation of any deck I'm using, I always see what messages come to me first. And I'll jot them down. And then I'll look at the book later for more clarification. If you want to reflect on it throughout your day as you're going through other things, if you do take a picture, maybe you have a lunch break at work. You can go to your picture and reflect on it as you eat your lunch. A multitasking witch, right, is multitasking and efficient witchy practices. That's what these 5-minute ritual videos, I hope, gives you in the end. So that's number 3. This box opens weird and I always fumble with it. These cards, by the way, I just got them not long ago. I really like them. Celtic Goddesses, Witches, and Queens Oracle Deck by Danny Forrest and Dan Goodfellow. Recommend if you're interested in Celtic women figures and what they represent. Anyways, ritual number 4, an energy cleanse. So I've done other videos on energy cleanses. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this one, but I think it's really important for us to do on the changing of the season and on the turn of the wheel. If you follow the wheel of the year for our 8 festivals, I always do a cleansing on each one of these as a general practice, and you can absolutely do this in 5 minutes. There's lots of different ways we can cleanse. One that is tool-free, you can use visualization to cleanse the energy within yourself. You really only need your focus, your intention, your mindset. If you like to use a tool for cleansing, which I often do, I usually like to bring in one thing when I'm doing a cleansing ritual. And a 5-minute one is something you could even do just every day as a general practice. For this one, we're going to focus on cleansing our energies and preparing them for the season ahead specifically, for the next few weeks ahead specifically. So that's something you can keep in mind when you're doing this. Again, 5 minutes, bring your energies to center, calm yourself, let go of everything from your day. And if you want to bring any tools, some that I recommend or some that are really accessible or kind of general tools that most people who like to do cleansing rituals will have at least one of them. You can use incense. Incense is probably my favorite way to do a cleansing. A lot of the times I will just light an incense and do a visualization, and that's a really quick way to do a cleansing. You can use a wand if you have one and kind of brush it around yourself to remove negative energies, to get stagnant energies moving again. You can use a crystal wand if you have one of those. Same thing. You can basically scan it over your body so that the energies get moving and you can release and cleanse away the ones that are no longer serving you. But be specific, we don't want to cleanse away any positive energy we're feeling, right? Because we have positive inside ourselves as well. So I like to focus on clearing away the negative energies, the stagnant energies, the energies that are no longer serving you. And I think I did, in one of my other 5-minute videos, I suggested a crystal cleanse, I think at the end of your day. I think that's what I suggested. And this is basically that. But when I do it on one of the Sabbats, I have that intention of entering the new season with clean, fresh, uplifted energies. So the focus is a little bit different from like a daily energy cleanse. And then you can also just use regular crystals if you don't have crystal wand. There's lots of good crystal energies, clear quartz, there's lots of good crystals that can clear your energies and remove negativity. Clear quartz is a good one, smoky quartz, amethyst, black tourmaline is good for banishing negativity as well. So those are a few tools you could use. You could also light a candle and do a visualization. White is the perfect candle color to use for cleansing. So again, if you need to set your alarm, do that. Focus your energy, get your tools prepared, settle yourself somewhere where you're going to have a few minutes of silence, turn your phone off. Whether or not you're using a tool, I do like to use visualization. It's my go-to for cleansing and protecting in a lot of other rituals. And imagine any negativity leaving your body, any stuck or blocked energies, imagine them breaking and moving freely again. If you're using an incense, you could put it in an incense burner and just sit with it. You could also move the incense around yourself so that the smoke kind of surrounds you as you're doing the cleansing, and focus on having calm breaths. Focus on letting go and releasing. Something that the autumn equinox and autumn in general really lends itself to is releasing things and letting go of anything holding us back, anything that's stagnant, anything that's no longer serving us. So focus your energy on anything you feel might be bottled up or trapped, not moving freely inside, and letting them go. I talked about this a lot with visualization. You can visualize it as color if that's what works for you. You can visualize a scene in your mind that you feel is very cleansing and brings you to a space that is free from negativity. You can visualize glitter or smoke within yourself rising up and leaving through the top of your head, out through your fingertips. What remains is like a bright white light or glitter or shimmer inside. I like to imagine this in my heart center as a place where I am feeling cleansed and free from negativity and ready to move forward into this season from this refreshed, energetic perspective, if that makes sense. I was trying to explain these things in a way that kind of resonates with different people and in a way that, I don't know, makes sense to me, but also makes sense to you. Sometimes I find it hard to explain these things. as it's such an energy feeling and it's so specific to the individual. But I hope I explained it okay and that you can take something positive from it when you go in to do your own autumn energy cleansing. And the last 5-minute ritual we're going to do gets into the kitchen with some kitchen witchery. So, and coffee, of course, or tea. It can also be tea. So we're going to do this 5-minute kitchen witch ritual to call in blessings and abundance for our lives in the weeks to come throughout the autumn season. I like to do this with coffee. You can also do it with tea. So how I like to do it is to make a sort of faux pumpkin spice latte. I don't have an espresso machine, so it's not a real latte. But basically, I will take some brewed coffee, some plant-based milk, and a pumpkin spice blend, and I'll warm them together on the stove. That's it. It's very simple. And while I'm going through the process of making my faux pumpkin spice latte, I will focus on calling in blessings. I will focus on calling in abundance for the weeks to come. So while it's on the stove, I'll bring it to a simmer and I'll stir the mixture clockwise in order to call these things in to myself and to my home as well. So pumpkin spice, I choose pumpkin spice because the spice blend for it is amazing for blessings, abundance, prosperity, success, luck, wealth, money. So many good properties is within this spice blend. So it's really a powerful mixture and should not be underestimated. You only need to stir for like, say, 60 seconds, just like a minute or two. Again, this is going to take 5 minutes. It does need to take a long time. And you're going to focus on your life over the autumn season that has these blessings, that has abundance in whatever areas you would like to call in. So maybe you want more financial abundance. Maybe you want to feel healthier. Maybe you want to have more self-love, an abundance of self-love in your life and love in general for the next few weeks. So tailor it to whatever type of abundance you're calling in and focus on those energies as you stir. Focus on how your life would be. Focus on what your days would look like. Think about maybe the perfect day in your autumn life if you had an abundance of these things you're trying to call in. And be very specific about your intentions. So don't just think about abundance in general, but tie it to something. Tie it to, like I said, love or money or, job success, something like this. The more specific you are, the more chances your manifestations will come in. After stirring for just 1 to 2 minutes, pour the mixture into a cup. You can choose your cup with intention. You could also enchant your cup and place a blessing on it for a specific intention, a specific thing. If you wish, you could choose a mug where the color matches your intention. So if you want to call in more financial abundance, maybe you choose a green mug or a mug that has green on it. And if you have more than 5 minutes, you can sit and carry this energy with you as you enjoy your faux pumpkin spice latte. You could also make a real pumpkin spice latte if you had an espresso machine, and then you can stir, once the machine makes it for you, if you're not doing it on a pot on the stove like I would do it. So you can keep these energies with you and focus on them as you enjoy your beverage if you have the time for that. If not, pour your latte into your to-go cup and you're out the door on the way to work. That's fine. You could still keep focusing on these things as you drink your beverage on the way to work. Maybe you're in the car in traffic drinking your beverage. You can still carry those energies with you as you finish this. You don't have to immediately snap into all the things you have to do that day. It doesn't take any extra time if you're just in your mind thinking about things. You can think about whatever you want in your mind. It doesn't have to be your to-do list. Take a minute to daydream. Take a minute to really hone in and try and manifest this abundance that you're trying to call in over the autumn weeks. And I like to hold the energies while I drink the whole beverage. You can do however long works for you, or however long you manage to not get distracted by something else. But the process of making it is really fast, and focusing these energies for just the 5 minutes is going to have a really big impact on your day. It's going to help you connect with the energy of autumn and how you want your autumn to feel and all the things you want to call in throughout the autumn season. And that's it. That's our 5 rituals for autumn equinox celebrations that you can do in 5 minutes or less. I really hope the video gave you some inspiration for your autumn equinox day. If you are going to be busy and you know you're not going to have a lot of time, maybe you'll pick one of these to do. I would love if you would leave a comment and let me know which one resonated with you the most, which one you look forward to doing the most, and we'll just give you that 5 minutes to allow you to release something and to call in abundance and to show gratitude and set fresh intentions. Like, we don't need a lot of time. We can still make these things work, and we can still have this mini celebration and connect with these energies in just a few minutes. And thank you for sticking with me right until the end. I appreciate you. I will link my blog and Instagram and my Spellbook subscription down below for you. I am doing an autumn promo. It's only $1 to try out my monthly Spellbook subscription. So highly recommend. It gives a ton of value. It focuses a lot on practical magic and seasonal magic, and you can cancel anytime. So I'm going to link that in case you want to check it out. I will be seeing you very soon in another video. Until next time, I'm wishing you a beautiful, magical Sabbath celebration in the coming days, and I'm sending you many, many blessings. Until next time, bye.